All right, so let's kick off the first power rankings of the year. So again, this is power rankings. This is not the standings. So if you won or lost, I really don't care. I'm just looking at your team. Coming in at number one, gonna make some people probably unhappy because he lost. We're gonna go with Grant. Jalen Hurts, elite fantasy QB. You guys all know I don't love him in real life, but I mean he just puts up numbers. Jonathan Taylor, super excited about. I don't think the Colts are going to blow teams out every week, so Daniel Jones should probably not get all the rushing work at the goal line. JT can just add one touchdown, and he's a 20-point scorer pretty much every week. I mean, Walker, I think, is weak. Charbonnet has looked better over the last 2 years in terms of he's just healthy. CD, great. Honestly, I think wide receiver one upside. DJ Moore, Kelsey, Jameson. But in terms of depth, I think he has a really solid starters. I think Brian Robinson, great handcuff, would love to have him. I think Eckler, Goff, Hollywood, all decent. Honestly, depth is not great, but top tier talent in terms of Jalen Hurts, CD, JT, Kelsey, DJ Moore. I mean, all those guys can put up great points, and then massive bonus points for having Brandon Aubrey. At number two, we're going to go to Chase Branch. So I think Chase was the highest scorer, or maybe second highest scorer this week behind either, I think, Arvin possibly. Purdy's pretty solid QB. I mean, Derrick Henry, Chase Brown is the reason Chase is getting this. I think they're studs. They're going to just put up points every week. T. Higgins should be better. Mike Evans should be better. I'm a monstrous Tyler Warren guy. I think he's a stud. I think he should be a top 5 tight end. Having Ridley, Pearsall, I think Kincaid, Trey Benson, honestly, bench is loaded. Chase could move up to number one shortly. I think the only thing that slows him down is Purdy didn't look great, but I'm expecting things to be a little better. Coming in at number 3, we're going to actually have, as I'm looking now, the highest scorer of the week, which is going to be Arvin. Mahomes, we'll see. He looked good. I mean, no receivers is going to be brutal. I think if they win games, it's going to be low scoring. But his rushing upside has been just growing every year with his arm talent going down. Saquon's stud. James Cook. I mean, the Bills' offense is insane, so I'm giving Cook props where he deserves it. I think Tet's going to be a beast. Diggs, meh. Brock Bowers, we all know Brock Bowers, best tight end in the league probably. I mean, Ford's ass, but you have Jalen Warren, Jacoby Myers, Rashee Rice, Pittman. I mean, super good depth. 4 guys that could be starters on a lot of teams. And once Rashee Rice comes back, Arvin probably will move up to number 1. But coming in at number 4, I'm going to give this to myself. I put up the 3rd most points this week with getting pretty much nothing from Worthy and Smith. I think quarterback Josh Allen, just machine. McCaffrey, Gibbs, I think both those guys are going to have 15 to 25 every week. I didn't get a touchdown on either of them and still scored 100 plus. Receivers, I'm weak. I think Keon Coleman is pretty much what I'm betting on. If Coleman can be the number 1 for Allen, I think my team's loaded. But positional advantage, Trey McBride, Josh Allen, I think that gives me a huge upside. Javonte Williams, Tyrone Tracy, Chris Godwin, bench depth is meh. I have a really weak bottom half of the bench. Got to get rid of Hunter Renfrow and Thielen. White boys can't hang. But like my squad, I think having arguably the best QB and the best tight end in fantasy is a huge advantage. Coming in at number 5, we're going to go with Mr. Sean Stasiak. So, honestly, pretty shit performance from him this week. But I like what I saw out of his players. I think the Broncos, I really don't know what happened first week. Bo Nix is going to be better. Whether he's not good in real life, I don't know. But fantasy-wise, he's going to be better. Bucky and Brees looked phenomenal in terms of workload and usage. I think Brees was probably a great sleeper pick. He looked spectacular. Fields doesn't throw the ball deep, so he's going to get a lot of work. Nico played terrible, but is an incredible player. So big hopes there. If Kittle was healthy, I really think Stays could be up there at number 1, but Kittle hurt is a big no for him. And then he's getting Etienne, which with Tank being gone, Etienne could become a top 12 back again. Looked really good. The Jags offense was moving. They were playing the fucking Panthers, so, who knows? But I think States has a really solid all-around team, especially once Kittle comes back. Number 6, we're going to go with Austin. So, again, Herbert looked fantastic. Bijan looked fantastic. James Conner looked all right. I think Trey Benson's going to eat into his workload throughout the year. Ladd and A.J. Brown. Ladd is going to be great. A.J. Brown, worrisome. Hurts doesn't throw the ball. I think Ingram and Harvey are both going to get better as the year goes on. In terms of his bench, I think Rome, Dobbins, Jaden Reed, decent. Outside of that, pretty miserable. But top half, really strong. I think Bijan's going to be fantastic this year. Ladd should get better. Herbert looked really good. If you can get that stack to connect, I think it's gold from there. And coming in now at number, 7, we have Mr. Seth Lancer. Genty did not look great. The Raiders offense looked like it was Geno heavy, so we'll see what happens there. Chuba, he looked fine. Scored me a touchdown, made me some money, so we're happy there. Panthers just could be miserable, so we'll see what happens with Chuba. Baker, solid QB, nothing really much else to say. Brian Thomas Jr. scares me. They designed plays for Travis Hunter. They did not design plays for Brian Thomas Jr. They invested so much capital in Hunter that we'll see what happens. Pickens, he did not look great. Njoku did not look great. JSN looked very good. I think he's going to get a lot of targets. Bench, pretty weak, but I think Jordan Mason is going to take over that backfield at some point. And then Debo, for all I hate on him, he looked really good. So I think Debo probably is going to come in there for Pickens some weeks and help out. And now we're going to 8 and 9, which is going to be both of the Zachs, with Zach Alexander coming in slightly ahead. I think Jacobs, Pollard, 2 workhorses. They're going to get pretty much all the work in their backfield, at least in the beginning of the year. Amon-Ra, I'm expecting to be, as good as he always is. Slow week for the Lions. Kyler, mediocre QB, but stacking with Marvin Harrison is good upside. Tyreek, I really have no idea what to think about him. He looked terrible. The Dolphins looked terrible. He just got a domestic violence accusation, so I don't know. If Tyreek is shit, Zach's team is looking a lot worse. And right behind him is going to be ZP, who, honestly, I think after watching McCarthy last night, might bump him ahead of Zach. I think it's really close. Lamar is insane. HN, he scored 15 with the Dolphins being as bad as humanly possible. Monty, mediocre. Jefferson, Adams should be really good. I think Loveland gets better as the year goes on. I think Judy gets better. I think Olave, Shakir on the bench is decent, but outside of that, pretty ass. Definitely could work on the bench, but I think top heavy, Lamar, HN, Jefferson, really solid team. Coming in at number 10, we're going to go with Mr. Puka Egbuka Gio. Put up a decent amount of points this week, so he's probably not going to be happy with where he came in at, but I just really don't like the team. Daniels and Terry, fantasy-wise, they were fine, but the Commanders didn't look great. They let the Giants hang around the entire game, and the Giants' offense barely moved the ball. Stacking both Rhamondre and Travion is gross. I'm huge on Travion, so I think, by probably week 6, Rhamondre will see your bench, but playing them both as your only 2 running backs is just horrific. Puka looked incredible. Mark Andrews, worrying. Boom or bust. If he gets a touchdown, he'll be good. If not, he's trash. Egbuka looks great. Once Godwin comes back, we'll see, but for the next 4 weeks, however long it takes, he's a must-start. Bench-wise, I like Keenan Allen a lot. Travis Hunter, maybe. He got a lot of design plays, so we'll see what happens. And then Golden didn't do much, but upside. Sampson, upside. Tillman, upside. Caleb Johnson looks like probably a really bad pick as of now, but we'll see as the season progresses. Gio, I think you have a lot on your bench, especially if Mixon can ever come back, but Right now, you're just way too weak at running back for me to rank you any higher. Coming in at number 11, we're going to have the number 1 player in fantasy, Ja'Marr Chase and Team Max. So I like Max's team a lot more than the score in the ranking I gave him, but I just kind of had to put him at the bottom. I mean, his team scored 61 points. It was miserable. Throughout the week, he was projected under 50 a lot of the time. Burrow to Ja'Marr should be much better. I can't imagine a world where it's not. Omarion, advanced stats, looked terrible. He had negative 25. He had 25 less yards than expected, which is the worst performance of the week. He doesn't see the hole well. I think a lot of people have come out and said that was a big issue for him in college, but in college it doesn't really matter when you have the talent that he has, so we'll see. Kyren looked like Kyren, gets a bunch of work, not efficient, but always decent. DK looks decent. Rodgers targeted him a bunch. I think they're going to make an effort to get him the ball, so I kind of like DK this year. Hawkinson, not great. Aaron Jones, honestly, did not look great. He caught that long touchdown, but outside of that, looked pretty terrible. In terms of Max's bench, I mean, it's pretty miserable. Charbonnet is probably your only guy with upside, and if he can, pick up that starting spot, I like your team a lot more plugging him into the flex. But for right now, it's, coming in at number 11. And in last place, we have no other than Javonte. As we all guessed, he was going to come in last. He's still in last place. And funny enough, I probably would have ranked him around 6 or 7 if Drake London didn't get hurt. But with London hurt, at least out for, call it probably, let's say 2 weeks, super weak. Swift did not look good. Dak, you're probably not going to play. You're probably going to go with Fields, which is really boom or bust. So that's going to be super dependent on Fields and Garrett Wilson. Malik should be better. Ferguson, don't really have much faith in. Your bench is horrible. I mean, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is going to probably be a starter for you now with Nick Chubb going to Gio. So your only really usable bench player is going to be DeAndre Swift, who looked bad. But super top-heavy at receiver. So with London healthy, if you can get, if Ja'Cory can be a 15-point-per-game guy, there's a lot of upside. But with London hurt, I just can't rank your team anywhere above last. You scored 80 points. I think only Max scored less than you. So Max's team is healthy, yours is not, therefore last. But yeah, so that's the rankings. We'll go Grant, Chase, Arvin, Brandon, Sean, Austin, Seth, Xander, ZP, Gio, Max, Javon. Tune in next week for week 2.